So we're going to dive into the takeaways here. We've survived all the presentations, Disney,
Yeah.
and
What did you think? This is your first time doing it, so
yeah. I mean,
hear
there's a lot of gross tonnage going on. Obviously, we saw, I was trying to count up how many trailers and teasers we saw this week. I mean, we're, probably well close to probably 80 or something like that, I would guess, and literally,
a
3 or 4
lot.
days there. So we'll get into which ones stick in our mind at this point. But yeah, it's I read the coverage every year and I see it from afar, obviously. And I love being in the room. So I love to see the reactions of the people who were assembled, and seeing the early previews and stuff is great. So there's man, it's stuff we talk about on the podcast a lot in our columns, but it's a unique business, Richard, that is a moment in time, and the people who work in it are great people, but there's
They
I
are
don't know.
in a moment in time. The question is, is it a moment in this time or
Yeah, well, which
uh,
time is it? Yeah, maybe that
uh,
15 years ago when you first went.
yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes. But yeah, so well, let's dive into some things we heard a lot of, and you certainly wrote about Windows was a big topic of conversation. This is the how many days movies stay in theaters before they go to platforms like premium video on demand, the home rentals,
So
and going to things like Peacock.
that's the big topic here this year
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's Michael during for those who are lucky enough not to be deep in the weeds of this during it used to be the sacrosanct thing that for 90 days
90
movies were
days,
in
3 months.
movies there, and it was for years right up until COVID. It was unthinkable that you could even
Yeah,
you couldn't even they tried to get discussions going about where there circumstances where it could be shorter, maybe some kinds of way,
right.
and there could not even be a conversation
You couldn't
about
budge.
90 days, the 90-day window in which you could not show that movie anywhere else was written in stone, and the exhibitors, the theaters had the theaters had the studios by the neck. They're saying, if you
Right.
break this, we won't show that
We
movie.
will show your movies. And when there's a big volume of films every year, that was something that, you could be a little choosy about when they made more movies, right?
And now we're where and now
Not so much.
and now we have the State of the Union, the state of the industry addressed by the head of Cinema United, which puts on CinemaCon. He
Right.
drew a hard line in the sand, and said there must be a 45-day window. We have to get
Yep.
it, which is half the window
Right.
of
The previous one.
10,
Yep.
10 years ago that was in there. And the studios said, oh, interesting.
Yeah, right. It's like it's a weird, like a studio. There's different strategies we've seen post COVID. Everybody's taking different things, and even Adam Aron, the head of AMC Theaters, was like, "I've talked to 3 of the 6 who are on board," and I'm like, "I pretty much can name you though." He didn't say who they were. He's got to work on the other 3, but Universal, Richard, they're famously probably they made the policy that started COVID to do 17-day windows, and but they have the most films coming out in the next 9 months, Richard. So it's like
Yep.
you're dependent upon us for the new movies, so we can dictate these terms, and we're saying 17 and 31 is what we like, and deal with it or not. Like and that's that. Warner Brothers did
And
not say anything. Go ahead, yeah.
yeah, I don't think any of the others
Well,
mentioned it. Or
I mean, Warner Brothers didn't say it at all. Lionsgate didn't really have a thing. Lionsgate also, not for all their films, but for some of their films, like the Flight Risks and things like that, the action movies, they do pretty quick turnarounds to get to Peabody on that too. Then you got Paramount. They came out like, hey, we do 30 days, if not 45. Disney always does have the long. I mean, they do have they typically wait about often 60 days. That's way. And Tom Rothman, that's Sony, they don't have a streaming service, so they don't even have there's not that impetus there. They have a deal with Netflix, and they said he's Tom Rothman first night of the CinemaCon was like, we will work with you on Windows, and pricing was his message. What that meant, of course, that's all he said. But so it's like 3 studios who are kind of like, yeah, 45 is kind of what we're doing. Maybe 30, 45, fine. And you got 3 who are kind of like, doing the emoji there with the shrug emoji, and it's like, all right, well, Good luck with that. So as you point out in your column, it's debate needs two sides to have any
Yeah,
kind of have a debate. If no one's
well, I
engaging,
got
you're
my
just kind of talking to
show
yourself.
ice
There you
standing.
go. Got the
My
Cinema
hat.
United hat, the trade
Yeah,
organization.
maybe I should show some of the swag we have.
Oh, please, you have a collection? Yeah, I
The
think. Well, yes,
I
we
got
are on video here, so yeah.
collected a lot here. I have I got this beautiful hat from Cinema United, who puts it on. Here's a Spinal
Spinal
Tap
Tap
hat.
hat. All right, they're coming back
Uh,
in theaters. That's right.
got got from the folks at Cineverse a Toxic Avenger hat.
Oh, coming in
The
August. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I
Peter
haven't opened this
Dinklage.
yet. We got from Amazon.
Yeah, they're you have a couple of
Okay.
tumblers there,
Oh,
Richard. So I don't want to
tumblers.
ruin your
Okay.
surprise.
Well,
Yeah, some insulated
let's see.
tumblers from our
Let's do an unboxing here. Yeah, there it is. The
an
Lion
Amazon
tumbler.
MGM, old school Lion on the MGM tumbler. Yeah, from the
Yeah,
folks at
very
Amazon.
nice. Thank you for
But
that.
Richard,
From
oh, but
A
what was
twenty
more?
four, I got
Oh,
we got
chocolate, nice,
well, it's chocolate flavored
fizzy
like
fountain
fountain soda,
soda.
which is
Okay.
you. I was impressed. I gotta say it was
Okay, well that's some high price chocolate from A24. That's prestigious stuff right
yeah.
there, Richard. So
And then the big
hold on to
one,
that
of
one.
course,
Okay.
is this is the CinemaCon gift bag of the year,
They give you a
featuring
big old bag of candy
filled
when you come
entirely with
here.
candy. See,
Yeah.
no Swarovski crystals here. It's
No, we won't
we've
go
got
through every item in the bag, but yes, the
Twizzler. No, we
Twizzlers, you got
yeah.
nerd clusters. I think was one you were
The
excited about,
nerd
Richard. So
clusters are
yeah,
the big hit of the
yeah. All
tuxedos.
right,
I wasn't familiar with
all
those.
right. That's a new one to me,
So
but yeah, okay. Almond on the
anyway,
inside, milk chocolate on the outside. There you go. All about the
yeah.
business. All right. Well,
So
fair enough. But a lot of swag going on, a lot of free things going on. A lot of talk about the experience of movie going is the other topic, Richard, where Chris Aronson, of course, from Paramount, he went up today and the head of distribution at Paramount. Fewer trailers, eliminating ads, and flexible pricing, and these things. And and I'm waiting for the releases on all this stuff from anybody doing any of it in the next year. I agree with Crystal. I've written in the Wake Up about. I walk in, I'm sitting through 27 minutes of crap, and I'm paying you $15 for this. And but again, we'll see if anything happens, Richard. But what changes might happen here, but
I mean,
we'll see.
I am hearing that the theater owners are getting desperate enough that they are recognizing that
Yeah,
that that maybe like pleasing your customers should be move up
it's a little
the
higher on the list. Yeah,
priority list, and like having them sit through half an hour of ads after they have paid for a ticket
yeah,
is not how most businesses please
yes,
go about pleasing their customers. When
yeah,
you go to
yeah.
when you say when you pay put in your money buy a box of breakfast cereal, they don't say great, now we have 30 minutes of ads for you to watch.
Yeah, let me tell you about these products that you probably may have heard of, but Richard, also what's the competition, right? Streaming, premium video on demand. You know what? When I pay
Yeah,
20 bucks a PVOD, I'm not sitting through any ads. My movie just starts. So that's your
yeah.
competition, by the way. That's your comp. So
It's uh,
we'll see if anybody heeds that message, Richard. I don't know.
yeah. Well, should we talk about some of the trailers we
Yeah,
saw, the slates we
let's
saw?
see. We saw a boatload of we've been overloaded with trailers,
So,
Richard. What do you remember? What is standing out for you that stood out as you were excited about
oh,
seeing for all the studios here? What do we got?
but I mean, so for one thing, it's reviewing trailers is really a sucker's business, and like if
Well, sure. Yeah.
you so you can go through on YouTube and see where people will take the worst movie, like the Showgirls or Golden Raspberry, and cut it into a trailer that makes it look like it's Shakespeare or something. Like get a if you can't make a good trailer out of something and show it to a Colosseum full of 10,000 excited
Yeah, a
business
hot
owners and
audience. Yeah.
have that be a good experience, then
That's a bad sign for your movie.
yeah. So most
But we're the jaded types, Richard. We've seen everything. So what got you excited? What psyched you up? Come on.
Uh, so let's just go studio by studio
All right.
there.
Let's do it. All
So
right.
we started with Sony,
Yeah.
which seems like
Well,
was a mere 4 days ago, but feels like another lifetime
might have you could tell me it
I
was two
got
weeks
here.
ago. I believe you. Yeah,
I haven't been outside of this hotel that we're both
you
in
should clarify. I have not either.
in
No,
four
no.
days also,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
managed without leaving the hotel I'm up to 12,000 steps today. So
Richard's got more steps this week than he will have in the next month. So yes, but
without
that's the
going
big
outside. So
achievement.
that's
Yeah.
where we
All
are.
right, but Richard, what are you excited about?
Okay,
People want to know what we
so
should be
refresh
excited
my
about
memory
here.
about Sony again. It's the
Well,
so
all right. Well,
they're gonna
I'll
have
kick off
they're
this
gonna
way.
have
I'm gonna
Spider. Oh well,
Sony was a
Sony
lot of announcements, so that we should say
yeah,
that too. They were not showing that much of
few
of the
and their big eye catching announcement was they talked about the four Beatles films, which
Beatles
we knew
movies,
about.
which 2028. Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about the casting for them and that they are all going to come out within proximity to each other within 1 month.
Yes, in April 2028. Yes,
So
exactly. So
we saw the 20. We saw the full 28 days later peak.
28 weeks later, or no, 28
28,
years later.
20
Sorry.
years
Yeah,
later.
yeah,
20
yeah,
years later,
yeah.
which that looked good.
It's intense, but they've
See,
already had some stuff
yeah,
out there. I was like, okay, we'll see how that goes. But the
uh,
Darren Aronofsky movie, which again I wrote my tirade in the Wake Up, so I won't repeat it here. But the perfect Gen X movie set to a Led Zeppelin song in the trailer. But I'll leave that there with Austin Butler. I'll reserve my judgment until I see the film. But that did not jive with my Gen X
yeah.
heart there. But over at Lionsgate, I will say they went up next. The Housemaid to me with Sydney Sweeney and
I
Amanda Seyfried and Brendan Sklar. That one looks. I'm high on that. I'm buying stock in
Well,
that.
that one looked really good, and also I think it made a big impact because it was a film that I didn't know anything about that. I hadn't heard about that
It's based on a
project at
very
all.
popular book, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't get out much, so it's I never
Books.
books.
Richard's a
What are
movie guy.
books?
Come on. Yeah. What?
Uh,
What are you talking about?
but no, I didn't
That's
know
the best.
anything. So it all looked very fresh, and that that was a trailer to remember.
Yeah, kind of the housemaid moves in, adult thriller. Richard, again, movies they don't make anymore. Paul Feig directing, who's
Yeah,
great. That's coming
the
out at
hand that rocks the
Christmas.
cradle.
Hanley Rocks the Crate, which they
Rocks the
are
cradle.
remaking in Disney Fox separately. We didn't
Yeah,
see that at this point. That made me laugh myself. But that one I think has some potential at Christmas. I'm just going through my, the ones that stuck out to me, Richard. We'll go on from there. But we had Disney and Paramount today. Naked Gun for me, I thought was that I was most concerned. That was the one I was like, this will be either gonna be
yeah,
terrible or
yeah.
great, and it fell into the great category. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a movie. I'm cautiously optimistic, Richard, that this could turn a little comedy mojo
Yeah, that
back to movies this
that
summer.
could
I
be
don't
a
know.
that looked like it could be like a genuine
That movie
R-rated
we were
comedy
waiting
hit.
for here since COVID, that we just go out, you just laugh your ass off for 90 minutes, and it's,
And the original Naked Gun is kind of a sacred text to me. So
oh,
I I
same
I
here.
I,
That's
I
why
was
my concern was so high.
yeah, I was on my guard for them just ripping off the original, and it felt like they were doing something really a different kind of character and a different a different world there,
Yeah,
and
updating it. Yeah.
all right. What else? What else
Yeah,
stood out?
that's coming out in August. I think the August 9th, I think, from Paramount.
Yeah,
The Roses, I thought we talked a little bit about that. That's the
yeah.
War of the Roses update from Searchlight. That's coming out
Another
the end of
comedy.
August. Yeah, this is more of a dark comedy. This is the old, of course, famous Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner movie from the late '80s. I think it was '89.
Yeah.
Update with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman
And
from the writer of The Favorite.
incredibly hard R-rated trailer.
It
I'd
looks like they're
say
going for it.
the
Yeah, yeah,
some salty language there and themes in the trailer. So
yeah.
yeah, that we just mentioned two of the three comedies that we
That's to
out of
say,
the
yeah, I know. I clearly know where my heart is on this. Yeah,
out of the
yeah.
80
It's not
films shown.
Avatar. It's not this. I'm like, this is what's standing out. What's standing
Yeah.
out to me. And also
Uh,
the Springsteen movie. Oh, sorry, good.
The Bride trailer from Warner
Oh
Brothers.
yeah, from Warner Brothers.
That
Yeah,
was an exciting one. Maggie Gyllenhaal, Bride of
next directorial
Frankenstein. That
movie. Yeah,
was a very sort of um, punk rock bride. It was
yeah.
I had two separate people who don't know each other said to me that was the movie I was hoping the Joker 2 was going to be.
Oh, interesting.
So
Oh,
the
wow. Okay. I can see that
um,
to a, yeah, to a degree. Sure.
but it looked like a genuinely kind of insane, crazy take on the on Bride
On
Running Hood.
Frankenstein and the Bride, and yeah, and you got Christian Bale playing Frankenstein too. Jesse Buckley's playing, the bride there, but
Yeah.
the Christian Bale as Frankenstein. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like that's it's a pretty good. I'm kind of curious what he does there as well, and so we'll see what they. There's a lot of chatter about that movie, and a lot of just got pushed to 2026 and things like that. So that was a strong spot, Richard. I think, yeah, I agree. That was
Yeah.
a good one.
Janice wants to see
Um,
what's in the bag, which
oh, we have a
let's
request,
finish on our
viewer
favorite movies
request. All
and
right,
then we'll go through the bag. But I'm telling you right now,
all right.
it is mostly like Mike and Ike's and candy that will look very familiar to you. So
All right,
we'll
fair
do
enough.
it, but
Not
it won't be that exciting. Um, the
all right, fair enough. So the bride,
um,
okay.
the bride was good. We saw we saw a little more. We saw a full scene from the Paul Thomas Anderson
Yes, the
Leo
DiCaprio
DiCaprio.
movie. Yep, yep.
What one battle after another? What is that called?
One battle after another with a pretty action-packed spot they had there. The trailer spot they had a scene, and then also had the I guess extended trailer or something like that. So yeah,
Oh.
I mean, it's a big swing, Richard. That's coming in September. Leo was here. We had Leo DiCaprio
Leo
in our
DiCaprio
presence,
on the
Richard.
which I don't know if it's the first time. It's the first time I've
Yeah, I don't. I'm sure.
seen
Yeah,
him up there.
maybe you did
So,
it for the Revenant or something. Who knows back in the
but
day? But
that was the first time that was on Tuesday, and that was the first time you felt the room get really excited.
yes, because
I think
Sony had a lot of
it had
directors, and
been a
yeah,
really kind of dead room before that. I would
that was
say,
they were up third. So there's two others before that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Leo was the first kind of big wattage star in the room there.
and the
Um,
biggest water star,
yeah, yeah.
and I mean, to me, who knows again, but it showed that it's a bigger kind of movie. They had people shooting at each other. They had a car flip over. So
For a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
it wasn't just
people talking
people.
in a room, and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
um, manner dialogue in a room.
yeah.
Other one that stood out in the Warner's one presentation, the Final Destination. We got a
We had a
extended.
big clip there. Yeah, that played really well. I think I think I mentioned it, and you were like, "This actually will be pretty big," and I'm like, "I didn't." It's got a big fan base, and that's coming out in May, a couple months here. That played really well in the room, I will say.
That was a pretty. I won't go into it, but it was a pretty
No, it's
crazy
not.
crazy
It's not.
scene. That was I don't know how
It's
to
it's not
describe it
rated for this. Yeah, what goes on in that scene was a little. Yeah, yeah.
if I
But that was
did.
well done, well done. And I thought Weapons actually was really that's movie like that was one of the most intriguing spots. That's the next one from Zach Kreger, who did Barbarian. This is his follow up to that. It was a teaser. It wasn't a lot of it, the kind of stuff, the premise there. But I'm like, that one's coming out. That to me, well, of course, I'll do our summer preview as we always do when we get to May. But that one has like a not a sleeper because it's it has prestige, but I was like, or has a following to it. But that one grabbed me, Richard. As like, I want to see more about that. So Weapons was one from New
Yeah.
Line that I was excited about too.
F1 also was a one we hadn't
They
seen
played
much yet.
10 minutes of F1. Yep, yep.
What that
So
the racing scenes are look pretty.
they
What
deliver. Yeah.
we heard some stuff about all the little mini cameras that were
Yes, all
uh,
the technical
put
specs. Yes.
put on these things, and it shows there, and those Warner's Animation also. Uh,
Yeah, Cat in the Hat's coming out in February
the
26th. Bill Hader came by there. Yeah,
something like that.
but
I mean, but they have a pretty full lineup of stuff coming. They have Flintstones, Only the Strange.
they had
Uh,
a few original swings. Yeah, Flintstones. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So
And then we came to Superman,
right.
which we this is the subject for the debate. I am very bullish on Superman. I think
Yeah,
I think it's something really different. I'm not a superhero fan in general, but it feels like something really different and grounded in the moment. Uh, but uh, but
yeah.
others say they don't see it. But so. Who
Right.
knows?
Yeah, you were buying stock on DC in our franchise
Yeah,
dual contest there, so you're in on that. I'm still waiting for July 11th. I'm just like, all right, let me see this
yeah.
whole movie, but we'll see how it goes. But
We we got
played pretty well.
we got to see a lot more about the dog, the dog
The
Crypto,
dog
and
took the show. Yeah, the clip came out online today. You can look at it, just search it on YouTube there. But yeah, a lot of the dog definitely was, and James Gunn went into a backstory as to what why he devised
you
it and
know,
stuff like that, which was great. Universal Richard, I think that
that's
movie, yeah, him, which is this movie from Monkey Paw, which is Jordan Peele's company with Marlon Wayans, like a football horror movie. And this one, I'm like, this is gonna be great, or it's Jordan Peele, but I was like, this felt fresh, and I'm like, that intrigued me probably the most of there. And they had, they went through the whole lineup for the next 9 months. That one stood out. That's in September. As like this one could be something people really talk about as a fresh kind of movie coming out that maybe is not just your traditional horror film or things like that. That caught my eye, Richard. Anything else on your end there?
yeah. I mean, I think the I think Universal was dominated by kind of the Jurassic and Wicked installments
Right.
coming
I mean,
this
that's that
year.
top and tail there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there were. I didn't feel like there was anything big, surprising beyond that.
Yeah. And a lot of Jason Blum with Megan 2.0 and Soulmate.
Megan
So
too looked good. I
yeah,
gotta say that,
I think
and
that'll be
also
a fun.
they also have an adult version of Megan called
Yeah.
Soulmate coming. That looked
Yeah, this one is a January film. Atomic Monsters, also James Wan's involved in that, of course. And yeah, that one, yeah, good old sex doll kind of, or I don't know, or living girlfriend or whatever this treatise is going to be, their soulmate. So we'll see
you know
see how that one goes out. Should probably I think you'll see a lot of conversation around that one when that comes out, but we'll see about that. And then Richard, Amazon, we have a new movie studio. Richard, congratulations!
that's right.
This is
That's
the
right.
biggest
We
news of the
new
week,
movie
really.
just when you thought you might get out of the Colosseum alive, you have one more studio there.
Yeah.
Amazon was since kind of nobody knew what the heck this was and what to expect was I think the sort of sleeper surprise of the con there. We
Yeah, 14 movies in 2026 and 15 in 2027. That Project Hail Mary this is the Ryan Gosling film which they led with. That stood out to me, Richard. We didn't really talk about. What did you? Does that kind of pop for you, or
I thought the After the Hunt
oh, the Julia Roberts movie?
yeah,
Yeah,
Luke how do you say his name?
Luca Guadagnino. Yeah, yeah. Andrew Garfield and
Guardino.
Iowa Debris in that. Yeah.
Look at that spoke to me. Project Hail Mary should be a big thing. I read the book.
Oh, what?
Of it.
No,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we have a
I like
book.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Nah.
All right. You read that
So
one? That's from
it's
Andy Weir. Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun story. I mean, they, I was saying that their slate. It's kind of like a Disney 2003 slate of like these kind of like nuts and bolts, like sort of elevated programmers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
Like you
see
said,
Crime 101, which is kind of, I mean, it's not heat, but it kind of is not, it's a heist movie, kind of slick. It's Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry,
yeah.
you got Mark Ruffalo, and, like that was kind of like, that kind of, yeah, a Hugh Jackman family sheep movie with Emmy Thompson. So like a broad live action family movie, Richard, like again, like movies that Disney used to be doing. And yeah, right, in the early, 2000s. Yeah.
Uh,
And
the Mercy with Chris
Chris
Pratt
Pratt, yeah,
saying
yeah,
it.
kind of an AI, I didn't murder my wife kind of thing going on, yeah.
So it's kind of so this is kind of I'll be writing about this later tonight, but so those of you listening, please don't reveal my thesis.
Yes,
But
secrets here on,
uh,
yeah.
so they're kind of with a lot of the studios, there's a lot more original things and a lot more things that
That
aren't
was the
just
thing,
sequels
yeah.
that we saw. So now that Hollywood has taken my advice and done what I said and
Right, of
done
course, yeah.
original thing, it kept driving me like, oh Jesus! But does anyone want to see this?
I
That,
think we're finding
so
out, Richard, yeah.
so now we'll have that question. I commend them all for doing it, and I hope that bringing original filmmaking back, we'll see that there's an audience for it.
Yeah.
There better be, because
Well,
they're
yeah.
actually doing a good amount of it.
Yeah, that was the thing that really came through. Then the Amazon slate. I mean, to have the MGM library, but Masters of the Universe was the only real thing that had any real IP. A lot of original shots coming up there at Amazon MGM. So
Yeah.
fresh ideas, new stuff, new voices. And then we had Paramount's The Naked Gun, Running Man, which Edgar Wright coming out. The updated.
That
It's
looked
not
that,
even
that I thought that looked really good. That
Glenn Powell. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that looked very strong. But
That's coming out in November, so that was kind
yeah,
of their big. Of course, Mission Impossible. Of course, Mr. Tom Cruise also joining us. Today, Richard as well. So a little more of an
yeah.
audience there.
Calling for a moment of silence for Val Kilmer, and
That
then
that was nice. Yeah,
you gotta say, just on the side, like that. So they gave all these CinemaCon awards to different people, and they present them within the
the
company's
presentation of the
presentation.
studios. Yeah,
So Chris McQuarrie was getting the Visionary Director of the Year award, I think. So
sounds about right.
Tom Cruise came to present it to him, and I mean, when a star does that, you know what that generally is. He makes a little joke.
Right.
He gives one little anecdote about the time we were on set,
Just,
and he
yeah,
said to
yeah,
do this, and it turned out to be great.
yeah,
Another joke, and goodbye.
yeah.
But he
Tom Cruise does not do that.
gave like a 25-minute speech, like filled with anecdotes and the history of their
Photos and
relationship and
yeah,
all the things they've done together and how he
yeah.
makes these movies better and what he brings to them and like what I mean, I've never heard a star like I mean,
It's Tom Cruise. That's
yeah,
yeah,
and I mean clearly that whether he had someone transcribe it for him or whatever, but they were his thoughts and his history
yeah,
there. And it was just,
yeah.
I've never heard a star like talk about someone who isn't themselves like at such length
Right.
before like
Right.
that. I mean, that was
Yeah.
pretty extraordinary.
Seemed pretty
Uh,
heartfelt. Yeah, yeah.
and Mission Impossible looked good. Looked like
The final reckoning coming
there.
Memorial Day. Tom Cruise and summer, man. That's it.
Yeah, there will be motorcycles and
There will be motorcycles. Chris Aaronson, yes, brought some motorcycles out.
yeah.
That was fun.
Um,
So yeah, that was good. Then we had
then the final presentation, Disney,
Disney. Yes.
which we got the first peek of the Bruce Springsteen movie.
Yes, that was the other big one that stood out for me. This whole
With
we Deliver Me from Nowhere with Jeremy Allen White and Jeremy Strong was there as well to present it. Yeah, what you, well, as the Jerseyan, I will pass it to you first to say to share here, Richard. What was your takeaway
I
there?
so music bios are I think kind of heavily trod territory right now. That's like that like
Well, yes, certainly a
you
complete unknown. Yeah,
but that genre you can just plug the name in and turn on the jukebox and it just but this seemed like it had a real that it was really centered on one moment
yeah,
and had a real kind of emotional story about this thing happening at one moment. So I was intrigued to
sure.
know
Okay.
more about it. It's
Yeah, I'm in on this. I mean, he sold and he looked great, in terms of
yeah,
obviously using the presence and the embodiment of Springsteen seems to play well, I think.
yeah, it's hard to imagine they could have gotten someone more
Yeah,
right to play Springsteen,
100%. But
and
yeah,
Jeremy Strong as his manager there,
right.
also
Great choice.
great.
Great
So
choice. But yeah, but it's interesting because like you do mention, we mentioned the Dylan movie, of course, a complete unknown, which had all the bangers, all the classics were in that movie. They a lot of music in that movie. This is focusing on kind of Bruce's album before the album. This is before Born
yeah,
in the USA. So it's like the music factor. I'm very curious to see because like in Nebraska, the seminal album. This is what it focuses on him recording that album in the early '80s doesn't have all the all the bangers on that. And I'm kind of curious how this goes out, but I think the story there was looked great. Scott Cooper directing is super talented. So,
yeah.
but I thought they landed the spot was great. I want to see more, and I think that played well.
Yeah. The
Um,
thing I think they're most excited about, it seemed like, because there's Lilo and Stitch, which
Everybody tells me this is going to be huge. This is also Memorial Day weekend. Yeah,
yeah, I concur. It's going to be huge. And
yeah,
the spot we saw, I don't we never really got into them in our house, our
okay.
kids, but I I think they will. they will approve.
I've had people tell me that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We saw some Tron. They had that out with Jared Leto and Jeff Bridges. A little bit of that, not a lot of that today. And then some Avatar coming out as well in 3D.
and we
Uh,
and the roses, as
and the
discussed,
Roses are from Searchlight. Yeah,
look,
yeah. That was
look
the
great.
one.
Right.
What can I
So
say?
here's a question. So I kind of went into it thinking. So you have these two Marvel films, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four,
Right,
and
which we also saw at some point. Yeah.
yeah, and I kind of went into it thinking like Thunderbolts look like something sort of unique and different and edgier and grittier, and kind of breaking up the and and Fantastic Four looks exactly like sort of superhero by numbers and and put it in there, and that is how I felt seeing the trailers. But when I saw the reaction in the CinemaCon room, I thought maybe that's not how they see this.
Oh, all right. Well,
Maybe
give
they
me what about?
maybe they say, yeah, superhero by numbers, like someone like superheroes in shiny suits flying through space, fantastic.
Right,
Uh,
we're in for Fantastic Four.
yeah,
Yeah,
they and why are they and this other one? Why are you showing us these dirty people in a rental truck yelling at each other? Like what?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Thunderbolts, I look, it had I'm not again not a big Marvel fan, but they had a little bit of humor. I laughed at it. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
kind of that's what I'm just hoping it has that accessibility, Richard, where like I know nothing about these people. I know not, but I could probably have a good time. Julia Louis Dreyfus was there, she was great. In that scene that they showed. So I was like, all right, this I have it in my head. A lot of people are kind of like, I don't know, it's gonna be that big. I'm like, I'm holding out a thing that this could be kind of an again, Guardians of the Galaxy esque kind of thing where it just has a little bit more fun, a little bit more accessible that way. So we'll find out to kick off summer, Richard, but we
and then
shall see.
um, so that we saw extended peek of Elio,
Yeah, see, yeah, uh-huh.
which I was it looked incredible, and I couldn't tell you for the life of me what it's about. Or
Yeah,
right?
they just showed an extensive scene. Yeah, yeah.
The boy goes to a place where things are weird.
So, yes, he was taken up into abducted into space into another world. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
and
we also had James L. Brooks with Ella McKay. We
oh
saw
yes,
him as
yes,
well. Yeah, we should mention that.
yeah. Who came out and immediately endorsed the 45-day window.
He did. That's right. Yeah,
So that was interesting.
yeah,
Zootopia
yeah.
coming back.
Zootopia, yeah, yeah. That's probably big in your house, Richard, I would guess.
Well, it was at the time. It's been a few years, but that was
Yeah.
you do anything, and then finally the
Mm-hmm.
big one,
Mm-hmm.
A Tale of Fire and
Fire and Ash.
yes, Avatar,
Yeah.
which I've lost money betting against two Avatar films.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try not to do the
At your
same.
peril.
Looked like a bunch of blue dragons floating through, flying
It's
around a
impressive.
bunch.
Yeah, no, I think we share a similar sense. I'm glad it exists in the movie business. I'm very happy for it. Every theater owner and executive we asked, what's the biggest movie of the year? Avatar was the number one, I think, right? Hands down an answer, right?
Yeah, I mean, go figure, but it will probably be. Um, so that was I think so. Should we wrap this up?
Let's round out with some magic candy here, Richard. Give us a
Okay.
little unveiling,
Eh,
unboxing, unwrapping. What do we got here? Come on,
well, I
the
gotta say
crowd
this
some.
is much more exciting in quantity than quality. These are mostly pretty familiar candies that you've seen.
All
So
right,
this is going to be the most exciting unboxing here. So we have the
Twizzlers. All right,
Twizzlers,
there we go. Okay.
which don't belong in a West Coast cookie goodie bag. Frankly,
Oh boy, controversy,
this is
everybody.
this
Okay,
is
there we go.
Red
All
Vines
right,
country here.
Red Band Gentry. Okay,
We have a doll for a devil that
okay,
has something to do with Captain America, which
all
I
right.
didn't see. So,
So we'll
oh,
take
that's
their word for that
Red
one.
Hulk. Red Hulk. There,
Oh, Red Hulk.
that must be
Oh,
what that
okay.
is. Okay,
Well, all right.
I
That's
got that.
Harrison Ford. Everybody, there you go. I think that's
I
what it
got
is.
that.
I didn't see that movie, but yeah.
A Monster Energy drink.
Oh, got to yep, got to keep
Um,
awake for all the presentations. Yeah.
Oh, well, this is exciting.
Oh
Mr.
my!
Beast
Oh,
Feastables.
of course. Wow, cross
There's a
pollination with the YouTube world. Just there we go.
Yeah.
Nice. Who'd
There
have
you
thought?
go. Um, we have here some trolls, sour bites.
All right.
Um, what is this thing here? Uh, we have some ads. We
Well,
have a
hey, we're no anti-ads here, Richard. We're not. We're listening to Chris Aronson. No more ads. That's it. I don't understand
yeah
these ads are. No
yeah.
free
What is it?
promo. Hey, hey,
Treasure
we're sponsored here,
trekkers.
but come on. They want to get on this. They get to pay us, Richard. Come on. No free ads.
Exactly. Uh, we have a Rice Krispie treat. Come to Vegas to get a Rice Krispie treat.
Fair
Some
enough.
Mike and Ike's.
All right. Classics.
Junior mints. I think you've seen what those look like.
Yeah.
Uh, Sour Jacks. Interesting.
Oh
Uh,
boy, that's
I
gonna take
gotta
some
say
enamel off your teeth.
the sour category is really on the rise,
There
and
really, that's what it, yeah, there was a lot of that, and I'm not a big sour guy, so I'm more of a chocolate guy. But
in
yeah, there was a lot of
Canada, yeah.
sour in this. A lot of yeah.
Um, here we have Starbucks goodies.
Starburst.
New,
All right,
new,
okay, new
yeah.
version of Starburst.
Some hot
That's on demand.
tamales here,
Okay.
and Welch's fruit snacks.
Oh, fruit snacks. How'd that get in there? What's going
Some nacho cheese.
on? Don't eat
Which
that. Oh
exactly what
no.
you want during a
Oh
movie.
no. Dip
While
your
seeing a
nerds in
movie,
there. There
open
you
your
go.
little
Yeah, dip your sour patch in there. Yeah.
some hot tamales.
Well, no,
Can't go to
that'll
the
keep
movies
you up all
without
night.
them.
Don't have those right now, Richard. No.
A Butterfinger.
All right, classic.
I
I'm
came
all
to
for it.
my dad went to Las Vegas and all he got was this lousy
I said before
Butterfinger.
it comes, it's lousy Butterfinger. Nice.
Um, yeah, it
No
it's
grand finale, Richard. We need an avatar to play us off here.
and Warheads cubes.
All right, we'll go with that.
So
That's
there
gonna
we go.
that's gonna
And
win it out.
the rest are a bunch of candies that you've all seen before. So
There you go.
you know
So
which I won't make you
Richard
look
will
them.
be flying back to LA with a big old bag to check in there. So
Yeah. So what's your favorite memory of your first CinemaCon?
oh man, between putting out 4 newsletters and going to what was it 6 presentations and how many parties we went to and gatherings. So you know what? I will give a shout out. The A24 folks had a nice gathering, and I had a good time at that. I enjoyed that kind of hang there, Richard. That was fun for the
Yeah,
experience of it, not just sitting in the theater the whole time. That was fun. Shout out to the A24
in a
people there.
suite that is
Yes, very.
significantly larger than my house.
Yes,
The
or anything. Yeah, had a hot tub room and had not nobody was in the hot tub room
pool
as far as I know, but
tables and
pool tables. Yeah,
uh,
it was a fun hang. So,
a
uh,
theater in the suite.
oh, was there?
Uh,
Okay, all right.
yeah, and
How about for you? Anything on your end?
uh, it's it's all kind of a blur. It's
Yeah,
all kind of a blur with 10 previous
yeah.
CinemaCons. You come out of here thinking like, okay, a lot of great stuff. They can do it. Like if we just believe enough, they can do it. So and I'm not when I say all these things look great, I'm not lying or
No, no, I'm
it's
yep,
but as we know, the laws of the box office are brutal these days. So, what
yep.
fate awaits them, we'll have to see. That'll
Yeah,
be the story of the next year. So,
exactly right. But this always comes after the Q1, and it's like everybody comes in, but this can turn around, if you get a few of these big movies turn. If we're able Minecraft opening, well, tonight really, but tomorrow, and that
yeah,
numbers keeps going.
I
That's been like keep going up all week. So I think that coming
I
out of
had
this will be a big weekend for it.
I talked to two significant chain owners,
Okay.
North American chain owners, both of whom said they expect that will significantly outperform expectations.
Yeah, I
So
have a
that
couple of yeah, same conversation. So
yeah.
that would be
So
great. That would be coming out of this weekend. That'd be great. And 2026 is looking awesome, Richard. We'll be back next year for
absolutely.
the for the real year movies are back, Richard.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
going to the same
yeah,
receptions in the same rooms with the same people, and
yeah,
still having
pretty
the
much.
same conversation about how long the window should be.
Exactly. More
So
talk of windows. So yeah, exactly. All right,
so
everybody.
looking
Thanks
for
for joining us for the conversation. Really enjoyed it. Richard, thank you for being an excellent guide to my first CinemaCon. Excellent work. I hope we can do it again
it's a
next year.
pleasure visiting Vegas with you here. So
All right.
I'll see you at the craps table in a few.
See you at the movies, Richard. Come on. There we go. Bring it back. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We
Take care.
appreciate it.
See
Bye.
you.